Hi YouTube, I'm Jennifer Marie Dreams, and I have created this YouTube channel in hopes to give you some inspiration to having a better self. So I'm going to get through these pretty quickly, but let's get going. My topic for today is going to be about how to address with your anxiety. This is all based off my perspective and based off the anxieties that I have experienced from my past and current sometimes, and how I'm able to deal with those situations. During this time, it's very crucial that I do suggest to get the professional help. It is very helpful if you're in some kind of organization, or if you're in with a therapist, a psychologist. There's music therapists who are able to actually help you to get through those inner struggles that you might have. I definitely recommend to get out and do the work in getting a professional help. So with that being said, let's get to the video. My first tip is air. It produces and creates life, and it's so much so that we need it for ourselves and to sustain our own body. So as a musician, it's very important for us to be able to breathe, and not just breathe, but we actually have certain ways to breathe. The way that we mainly breathe is when we inhale, our belly goes out, and when we exhale, our belly is going in. These are also breathing exercises that we like to use before we do performances or even practicing, because it just helps to kind of warm up the body. So even placing your hand in front of your face and singing Mary Had a Little Lamb. So it'll go like this. Using your diaphragm, you'll breathe in. I like using that technique because I think it helps me out so much. Definitely when I'm more aware, I think going to that breathing exercise is always the best thing. It just helps me to calm down and get back centered to myself. My second tip is singing, humming, or whistling. Of course, we know, like, if you go into a dark alley, you just have to sing, or you just have to hum just some random playful tunes. Yes, I think that all helps into keeping your anxiety down, especially singing, because it just helps to stimulate your brain, and it actually helps you to get outside of your anxiety, and which is what you want to do, is be able to get outside of that anxiety. Definitely if you're in the moment, or if you're in a time in a place where you're not able to center and dress it towards yourself, it helps you to focus outside of it so that you can focus on the lyrics, or focus on the pitch, or focus on whatever the case may be. But singing, humming, and whistling is definitely my go-to thing as well. My third tip is to practice. And so as a musician, we practice not just like we open our instruments and then we pull out everything. The way that I practice is I like to write down everything into my notebook. This actually tells me all the tasks that I'm going to be doing for my practice time. May it be an hour, 30 minutes, whatever the case may be. But this helps me to, and I use those breathing exercises to kind of help me to calm my nerves, to get my body warmed up, but then also to help me to focus on what I want to do. It could be just a simple etude, or just even practicing scales. Those all take place on helping me to focus on not my anxiety, but on myself, and it actually also helps me to become a better musician. My fourth tip is sound. So I'm going to use this as in terms of ethnomusicology, because ethnomusicologists, they believe in the idea that if anything creates sound, then it is considered music. So you could be tapping on, or you could be clicking, or the sound of a penny. Everything is all used and created as music. apps that have like the nature sounds, classical music, ASMR. Those are all things that just stimulates the brain in so many ways. It makes it feels like you're doing certain things, or it makes it and you're not doing anything, or it makes it feels like you're being stimulated through your mind and through your brain because of sound. And that's all music. It's all considered music. So I definitely encourage, or even reading like a bedtime story, those are all things that I encourage for your musical skills and for your brain to be able to be stimulated in that way. My fifth tip is foods. So caffeines, alcohols, sugars, juices, things that are high in sugars or high in sweets, that are high in sugar and caffeine and alcohol, those tend to promote my anxiety. Making sure that you're being mindful, taking care of yourself, and staying away from those high caffeines or sugars that will help to make sure that your anxiety doesn't get provoked. My sixth tip is sleeping. So as a full-time student, for example, I know there, and I'm not just the only one, but I know there's moments where students, they'll stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning and not even realizing it because they're so focused on their task or they're so focused on their assignment. What helps is B12. I've even noticed myself doing crafting. I find myself so into it that I want to finish this piece or this part of the project before I go to sleep and not even realize that it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I have to probably be up at 5, 7, or 8 o'clock the next day. Being mindful of our sleep habits, I even sometimes have to set alarm towards my sleep to make sure that I say, okay, I need to go to sleep at this time of bed so that I can wake up at this time accurately. So be mindful of your sleep habits and making sure that you have the full amount of sleep that you need for your day. And my last tip for the day is to exercise. So sometimes I know for definitely towards the beginning of my workouts and towards the beginning of my exercise experience is that sometimes anxiety is provoked because either I don't have the self-esteem or the confidence that I have to even face the gym. So I know sometimes that can probably be a little counterintuitive for most people, but there are certain exercises that I do recommend, such as yoga, tai chi, boxing, and even dancing, that all helps to dish out all of that anxiety that is in your body and shake it all completely out. It's definitely one, and it's the major one that I do recommend into making sure that you stay away from anxiety thoughts. Okay, so that is it. That is all the tips I have for you. I hope that was all beneficial for you. If you find anything is in this video to be of helpful and service to you, then please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time.